Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Colby from Sanitarian Productions. We're back again with another action figure review. In this episode, we're taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins line, and this is the Sorceress figure. Very, very cool looking here. This is one of the figures from the vintage line that I never had. So it's nice to actually finally get one in the package here to harken back to the old days of that vintage line here. Very cool looking figure in the package. There was a version of the Sorceress included in Castle Grayskull, which I don't have yet because I've never seen that on store shelves anywhere. So I got to make do with what I can get. And luckily we get the original classic colored version of the Sorceress in this package. So very cool looking. Standard Masters of the Universe Origins line packaging here. We've got the new for 22 little bullet up here. Modern posing retro play. And Sorceress, Heroic Guardian of Castle Grayskull. Very, very, very cool. We'll slip this over to the side here. And here's the back of the packaging here. We do have some very nice looking artwork here showcasing the Sorceress and He-Man and Castle Grayskull and Hordak and all his minions and everything like that. Very, 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 very cool. We also get some of the other figures in the wave here on the back for the cross sale. He-Man, Sorceress, Skeletor, Buzz-Off, Stratos, and Jitsu. We've got the action features listed over here. Spread wings and twist into powerful battle positions. And I think that's kind of standard. They seem to do that with about every one of these. Copyright on this is 2021. I did pick it up in 2022. I got lucky and picked this one up off of Amazon, I think it was. So, you know, your mileage may vary, however you want to look at that. There is some obvious wear here on the card where they were opening it. It kind of cut into the card a little bit. It's fairly standard. We also get a little bit of damage here on the front. And it's kind of what I'm used to with these things. So, yeah. Also, corners are very much dinged up and all that good stuff. Yeah. I haven't seen this one very often on store shelves. I think maybe once I saw it. So yeah, wasn't an easy one to pick up, but luckily, you know, Amazon had it when I was looking at it and had it for a pretty decent price here. The standard on these things is what, like $15 or something like that. I think I got this one on sale for like $9 at some point, but yeah, very cool anyways. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. I have usually used the X-Acto knife to kind of cut around these things, but it takes too much time. So we're just going to stick our thumb down here and just yank on this one and pull the bubble off, as it were. Our inserts here, card and little packaging insert thing. Figure comes out on the tray. And then we're left with that. So, not terrible, but again, I'm not keeping the packaging on these things. There's too much other stuff to look at, so I just don't bother with the packaging. Let's see what we got here. We got the comic, and we got that little figure part insert here. The comic is the same one that we got with Jitsu, Challenge of Jitsu. Very nice looking. The back has that same cross-cell art here. If you haven't seen the comic yet, we'll flip through this very quickly here, and you're welcome to pause it here if you want to read it, anything like that. Actually, did Sorceress... Yeah, she's here for 1, 2, 3 panels, so it is what it is. Not a whole lot going on with the Sorceress in the comic, but we get a little bit anyways. There we go. That's the comic. We'll throw that to the side. We also get this nice little packing insert here showing us which figure pieces are removable. We've got the head, the arms, the chest piece, and then the lower leg pieces. So kind of cool. But yeah, we'll toss that to the side as well. And let's get the figure out of the packaging here. Looking at it right here, I am not seeing any. Okay, there is these rubber bands on the wings and across the actual staff here. So we're going to slice those off real quick here. That comes out, and that looks to be all there is, just the two armbands. And then the wings are kind of weird. They are put in this weird configuration where it's plastic goes down the middle here, and then it's open on the sides. So we'll have to figure out what the best way is to get that out. But in theory, we're just going to press and then just yank this out. They don't really, well, they kind of fold in a little bit. So I'll press on that a little bit. Luckily, they're kind of a bendy plastic, so it probably isn't going to be too big of a deal, but really not an easy way to do this, other than just kind of bend it and yank. So yeah, that's not the favorite way to do it. You can see by doing that, it gets it a little bit out of shape there, but you can hopefully bend that back into place pretty easily. But there's a Sorceress. We'll throw that packaging to the side, and we've got this cool staff here. It does have a piece of tape holding it on there. I don't know if there's an easier way to do it, but we're going to cut the plastic off and just pull that out from the top like that. And then that can be tossed away like so. So let's zoom in a little bit here to get a closer look. Bear with me while I readjust the camera. That probably will work here. The accessory staff here is done in an all white, whatever we want to call it, plastic mold. So I don't know if the lights are going to behave for us on this one, or if we're going to have to make some adjustments. But probably going to have to make some adjustments. Let's dial that down or off and take a look here. So we have just a little bit of detail work here, showing that eagle, if you will, phoenix, however you want to look at it there. That nice motif there. So a little bit of texture on that. And then the rest of it is pretty standard. Got those balls on the end there. So yeah, nothing really too exciting there, but the staff will fit in her hand pretty easily, and you can slide it up and down wherever you need it to go to get it to fit if she's standing up and things like that. But fits in her hand very easily, so no big issues there. The plastic on her hands is kind of bendy, so luckily this is not going to like stretch it out too much. I am a little concerned about what that will do over time, if that will just get very loose, or if it's going to, you know, maintain its rigidity over time. But only time will tell us of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So moving on to the figure here. I love the color scheme on this thing, and I'm going to leave the light off as much as possible here, just because it is a lighter looking figure here, so it helps to not crush the whites so much. So but yeah, so the figure looks really awesome. It definitely feels like that same original vintage figure. The entire line from the Masters of the Universe Origins line has done a really awesome job of updating those original vintage characters with slightly new posing, but it definitely still feels like the same character. I know lots of times when we see new figures of old characters, it seems like it's not quite got the same feel to it, but these definitely have that same feel of, you know, that original vintage line. So I'm really happy with that. So let's look at some of the details on here, and I will probably have to turn the light up a little bit here. So top of the head here has some nice sculpting. And again, I hate this, that we can't really see the detail work without turning the light off. So anyways, if you look at the actual headpiece itself, there's some really nice looking sculpting for the feathers on that headdress. You got the painted eagle eyes, the nice beak there as well. It really does look very, very cool. Even on the back here, you can see the differentiation. There's a big chunk missing out of the back of her headdress there for some reason. So I don't know. That's something you can't really do much about until you've already pulled it out of the package. So you can't look for that, in other words, on the shelf or anything like that. But it looks nice. It has this nice little bend in it right there to go over top of the wings. Very, very cool looking. The face itself also looks really nice here. It's got a nice kind of not quite gold, but a goldish color around the headband here. They did a nice job with the eyes. Dial that up just a little bit maybe. The facial sculpt looks really good. The makeup paint apps look really good. It definitely still looks kind of like the same head as Teela. So nothing really wrong with that, because they are, in theory, supposed to be related. So that makes sense and works really well. Moving on, we've got the standard kind of blue top here with the these little weird kind of looking feather application things here. What's kind of weird about it is that some of these are painted on and some of them are actually sculpted on. So actually I think most of them are all actual sculpts. So if you I don't know if that's going to pick up on camera or not, but there are actually sculpted in there, so they are actually raised, which is not what I was expecting, but it's there. It also looks really nice, nice and clean. There's no weird paint slop or anything on like that. A little bit of weird speck over here on the side, but past that, nothing really major there. Looking at the rest of the body here, we've got some nice sculpting here in the boots. They have that same kind of feather effect. They're almost like a cloudy look there, but works pretty well for what it is. We also have those regular feathers on her wings. I don't know what else to call it. There is a little bit of paint bleed over on some of the wings, especially on like the tips here, but for the most part it's a nice solid orange color. And then flipping it over to the back, you can see all that sculpting into those individual feathers and wings and things like that. So that looks very cool. It does open all the way out to about right there. It won't really go any higher than that. So there are technically 3 pieces here, the 2 left and right, and then the middle piece there, which is pretty interesting. But it folds up pretty nicely there, and but only expands to about that far right there. So not too major. If we kind of tilt the head around a little bit, you can kind of see those metallic pieces there, what hold the wings in place. So pretty cool looking though. I do like that, and again, I like the transition between the blue and the orange. That works really well here. I've got a couple of little paint flecks here that I might be able to scratch off, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And then oddly enough, the orange wing tips, if you turn it to the side, you can definitely see that for the most part that blue is only on the back side. It might have been nice to have them kind of cover up some of that thickness of the wings with the little blue, but again, I'm nitpicking there. Overall, though, the figure looks really awesome here. Let's look at articulation here. The head really doesn't turn left or right because of the way that wing span thing is. If you let the wings down, you get a little bit more head tilt or left-right action there, but it does spin all the way around if you kind of lift it up over top of that little weird thing. But if you have the wings up at all, left and right does not work. So if you want to move your head, put the wings down. We also get a little bit of head tilt. We do get down about that much and up about that much, so it's a little bit limited, but it still works pretty well for what it is. Standard ball and swivel at the shoulder joint there, so out that much, around and down. Ball and swivel at the elbow joint there. We've got a swivel and a rocker there at the wrist. Same thing on the other side, rocker at that wrist, so very cool there. We also have the twist at the waist, which definitely helps with the fact that the head doesn't turn left and right as much as you might want. But you also do have to be careful that you get, well, not careful, but so when you do turn it, it's a little annoying that those little bits of the feather pattern don't line up anymore, so that's a little aggravating, but not too terribly bad. Hips, standard plastic T-hook there, so she goes out that far. Frontwards, about that far. Backwards, this is where you start running into issues. While the feathers are a more rigid plastic, they're not really that soft. You still can't really go back further than that. Still not terrible. Standard weird ball joints at the knee, and we've got, I'm assuming these are not the updated version of the knees, because that knee joint itself looks like it extends out a little bit more than I'm used to. So, and I don't know, leave some comments down below if you've seen that with the new updated joint or not. It's not terrible, it's a little weird, but you get over it pretty quick here. We have a standard swivel at the top of the boot. We got the standard rocker swivel thingy at the boot, the ankle, sorry. And that all works really well. I will point out that we also do have some sculpting done on the bottom of the boot, so the heel part, which actually looks really nice. I do like that a lot, but I was not expecting that either. And then standard foot peg at the bottom there. So all in all, a very nice looking figure here. For the sake of comparison, I do have our standard He-Man from one of the first releases here. So you can see size-wise, she does stand a little bit shorter than He-Man, or quite a bit shorter actually now that I'm looking at it. It is what it is, but that's kind of what we are. So, still looks pretty good here. We'll move He-Man off to the side here because he's not really all that relevant for the rest of this. But yeah, this is Sorceress. I'm really glad that they updated this figure and we got a new release. This was one of the harder ones to get from the vintage line. The staff itself is extremely hard to get. So, having that new updated version of this is really nice. If you don't have one of the vintage line figures, this would make a good replacement for that, or a stand-in maybe. But yeah, for the Origins line, it's a great looking figure here. I'm very impressed with this thing. Well, that's all the time we have for today, so thanks for stopping by as always. I appreciate y'all spending a little bit of time with me and looking at this Masters of the Universe Origins line. Sorceress figure. Let me know in the comments section what you think about this figure. How does it compare to some of the other figures in the line for you? Does it do well as a replacement in your vintage collection if you don't have a Sorceress figure? And do you think the staff is necessary? I don't know. Anything like that, drop some comments down below. Let me know. If you would like to see anything in future episodes, let me know that in the comments section as well. My collecting habits are kind of all over the place sometimes, so it just kind of depends. But if there's something y'all want to see, I'll be glad to try to go out and see if I can find it, or maybe I've got it in one of my old lots here somewhere. But yeah, if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. Oh, I'm done. Yeah. Thanks again for stopping by, and until next time.